Day 59, 10,393 verses left. At the beginning of Ezekiel, one set of Israelites have already been taken captive to Babylon, but Jerusalem hasn't been destroyed yet. Check out 2 Kings 24. Ezekiel is an amazing book, and it starts with a chapter that's pretty flippin' trippy. He sees 4 living creatures that look like men, except they've each got 4 faces from 4 different animals, 4 sets of wings, legs like a calf, blazing fire moving in between them, and they were all scooting around on these enormous wheels that are all covered with eyes. Not so much like men then? This whole thing seems to be an introduction to a guy who sits on a sapphire throne, radiates like glowing metal, and is surrounded by brilliant light. He's got a job for Ezekiel to do, and he sends him to the Israelites to give them messages from God. If this wasn't weird enough, he then gives Ezekiel a scroll and he tells him to eat it. Ooh, luckily it tastes like honey. He tells them the Israelites are hard, but he's going to make him harder, and then he lifts him up and plonks him back down by the river where he was previously minding his own business. What a bonkers way to get recruited! Okay, Ezekiel, first job, lie on your side for 430 days while playing ancient Playmobil and cooking your food over your own You don't fancy that, eh? Okay, fine. Well, you can cook over manure instead. Guess charcoal wasn't invented. He does all this to symbolise the upcoming destruction of Jerusalem, and there's some pretty grisly details in the middle of chapter 5. Onwards and upwards, though, and he seemed to get the Wheel of Fortune in chapter 6, although the only choices are sword, famine, or plague. Oh, I don't fancy spinning that thing. So although a lot of what happens in Ezekiel is pretty horrible, you get this repeated phrase that goes, "Then they will know that I am the Lord." It looks like God wants to make himself just as responsible for their punishment as he does for their prosperity. And that's pretty much exactly what he said he'd do in Deuteronomy 28 from day 15. The blazing man and the living creatures are back in 8 to 10 as Ezekiel gets a guided tour of all the idolatry and then a front row ticket to see all of them get killed. Then the glory of God departs from the temple, which is a huge moment because the temple was supposed to be the place that God would live among his people forever. They were warned about this in 2 Chronicles 7 when they first built the temple. Check out day 31. In chapter 11, God promises to give his people a brand new heart of flesh in place of their hearts of stone to win them back. Tune in tomorrow for X-rated parables.